How America became a superpower. Some countries become powerful slowly over many centuries. Some rise quickly, like a fire catching dry wood, and some transform almost silently, becoming strong before the rest of the world even notices. The United States of America is one of the rare countries that did all three. It grew slowly, it rose quickly, and it surprised the entire world. Today, America is called a superpower, a country with unmatched military strength, deep economic influence, cultural dominance, and global leadership. But this position did not appear suddenly. It was built step by step through wars, industries, geography, luck, mistakes, innovations, and millions of people chasing opportunity. To understand why America became a superpower, we must go back to the beginning. Not just to the Founding Fathers, not just to the 1800s, not just to World War II, but to the conditions that created everything that came later. Because superpowers are not born, they are shaped. The advantage of a giant land, geography as destiny. America's first advantage was not money or soldiers or leaders. It was land. When the early colonies were established in the 1600s and 1700s, most of the world had borders created by ancient battles, complicated politics, and centuries of conflict. Europe was full of kingdoms that hated each other. Asia had empires that constantly fought for control. Africa and the Middle East faced tribal and territorial divisions that were hundreds of years old. But North America was different. The continent was enormous, the land was rich, the population density was low. America had vast forests, huge rivers, fertile farmland, natural ports, endless space, and most importantly, two giant oceans, one on each side. The Atlantic protected it from Europe, the Pacific protected it from Asia. This meant something powerful. No major enemy could easily invade the United States. Most global empires in history, Rome, the Ottomans, the British, constantly fought to defend their borders. America did not have this problem. It could grow without fear. Immigration, the engine of growth. The second foundation of American power was people. From the very beginning, the United States was a magnet for human talent. People came from everywhere: Germany, Ireland, Italy, England, Scandinavia, Eastern Europe, China, Africa, tragically through slavery, Mexico, the Middle East, India, Turkey, everywhere. Some came for freedom, some came for opportunity, some came for safety. Some came because they had nowhere else to go. And America grew. In 1776, the population was only 2.5 million. By 1900, it was 76 million. By 2000, it was over 280 million. This enormous population allowed a huge workforce, rapid industrialization, innovation, a large military, a strong consumer market, fast economic growth. America's diversity became its strength. Different cultures brought different skills, ideas, and perspectives. It became a country where ambition was normal, where dreaming big was part of the culture. This mindset would later help America dominate technology, business, science, and entertainment. The industrial explosion, when America started to run. By the mid-1800s, something extraordinary happened. America industrialized faster than almost any nation in history. Railroads connected the country, factories filled the cities, coal and steel production exploded. Immigrants provided labor, inventions transformed everyday life. Within a few decades, the United States became The world's largest steel producer, the world's largest manufacturer, the world's largest oil producer, the world's largest consumer market. Names like Rockefeller, Carnegie, Ford, Edison became symbols of enormous economic power. By 1900, America's economy was bigger than Britain, Germany, and France. The United States was no longer a young country. It was a giant, awake and moving. The power of a new idea, democracy and opportunity. Americans believed in something radical for that era. Anyone can rise. Your birth did not define your future. Your class did not trap you. Your religion, ethnicity, or background did not limit you. Was this always true? No. America had deep injustices and contradictions. Slavery existed. Native populations were displaced. Women lacked many rights. Immigrants often struggled. But the idea of opportunity, the belief that you could rise, created an energy that pushed the country forward. This belief became part of the American identity. And identity is a powerful force. It shapes culture, it shapes ambition, it shapes national character. The world began to see the United States not just as a country, but as a symbol of possibility. World War I, when America stepped forward. Before 1917, the United States was strong, but not yet a superpower. Europe still dominated the world through empires: Britain, France, Germany, Russia, Austria, Hungary. But when World War I erupted, Europe tore itself apart. By the time the U.S. entered the war in 1917, all the major powers were exhausted, economically, militarily, socially. The United States, protected by oceans, was fresh and strong. It supplied food, it supplied weapons, it supplied soldiers, it supplied credit. And when the war ended, something historic happened. America became the world's financial center. European countries owed the U.S. billions of dollars. America's factories boomed. Its banks became global powerhouses. Its industries expanded. For the first time, the world depended on America. But the true turning point was still to come. The Great Depression, a fall before the rise. In 1929, everything collapsed. The stock market crashed. Banks failed. Millions became unemployed. Factories closed. People lost savings, homes, and hope. The Great Depression almost destroyed the American economy, but it did something unexpected. It forced the United States to rebuild its systems, strengthen its institutions, and modernize its industries. President Roosevelt's New Deal created public projects, social safety nets, banking reforms, job programs, infrastructure projects. The crisis transformed the country into a modern state with stronger foundations. Still, America was recovering, and the world was about to explode again. World War II, the birth of a superpower. 1939. War erupted. Germany, Japan, Italy. The Axis powers moved aggressively. The United States tried to stay out. But on December 7, 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. Everything changed. America entered the war with full force. Its factories shifted into wartime mode. Its people united. Its industries produced more than any other nation on earth. Tanks, planes, ships, weapons, supplies. By 1945, the U.S. had done something no nation in history had ever done. It became the world's industrial, financial, and military center, all at the same time. Europe was destroyed. Asia was destroyed. Japan was destroyed. The Soviet Union was heavily damaged. But America had untouched cities, huge factories, full employment, advanced technology, a massive military, nuclear weapons, a powerful navy, global influence. And the world looked up and saw a superpower. When World War II ended in 1945, almost every powerful country on Earth lay in ruins. Cities were destroyed. Factories were gone. Railways and ports were bombed. Economies collapsed. But the United States was different. Its cities were untouched. Its industries were stronger than ever. Its economy was booming. Its population was growing. Its military was the most advanced in human history. America entered a new era, an era where it would not just influence the world, it would shape it. The United States and the New World Order. After the war, the world needed rebuilding, and only one country had the money, the technology, the resources, the political stability, and the industrial capacity to rebuild it, the United States. So America led the creation of new global systems that still exist today. The United Nations, UN, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, the World Trade Organization, WTO, later, NATO, Military Alliance. These institutions gave America influence over global finance, global development, global trade, global security. The world's new structure had an American blueprint. The dollar becomes the center of the world. One of the biggest reasons America became a superpower is surprisingly simple. The US dollar became the world's main currency. In 1944, the world signed the Bretton Woods Agreement, which said all major currencies would be tied to the US dollar, and the dollar would be tied to gold. This meant the dollar became as stable as gold itself. Every country needed dollars. Every country saved dollars. Every country traded in dollars. Oil, gold, wheat, technology, international loans, all were priced in USD. The dollar became the blood of the global economy. This gave America something priceless economic power without needing to conquer anyone. Every global transaction strengthened the U.S. economy, and this dominance still continues today. The Cold War, a competition that made America stronger. After World War II, a new enemy appeared, the Soviet Union. Two giant countries, two ideologies, two visions for the world. Capitalism versus communism, democracy versus authoritarianism, open markets versus controlled markets. The Cold War was not fought on battlefields, but through technology, spies, money, influence, space race, nuclear weapons, culture, propaganda. America and the Soviet Union competed in everything. But here's the key. This competition pushed America to innovate faster than ever. The government spent billions on research, universities, laboratories, aerospace, computing, military technology. The Cold War was dangerous, but it also accelerated American progress. The military machine. During the Cold War, America built something no country had ever created: a global military network. The U.S. placed bases all over the world: Europe, Asia, Middle East, Africa, Pacific Islands. It had the strongest navy, the largest air force, the most advanced technology, nuclear weapons, aircraft carriers, submarines, satellites, global intelligence agencies. The American military became a world police force, not because it controlled every place, but because it could reach every place. This made America a military superpower. The technology revolution. America takes the lead. In the 1950s to 1980s, American scientists and engineers led the world in discoveries. Computers, microchips, satellites, nuclear energy, GPS, advanced medicine, aerospace. Every breakthrough strengthened American industries. But then something extraordinary happened. Silicon Valley was born. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, Intel, IBM, later Google, Amazon, Facebook, turned America into the center of the digital world. The Internet was invented in the United States. The personal computer was invented in the United States. Search engines, social media, smartphones, cloud computing, all American innovations. This gave the U.S. a new kind of power, digital power, a power more influential than armies or oil. The cultural empire, Hollywood, and the American dream. Power is not just weapons and money. Power is culture, and America became the cultural center of the modern world. Hollywood movies reached every country. American music shaped generations. American fashion, brands, celebrities, products, all became global icons. The American dream, the idea that anyone could rise, became a fantasy people around the world believed in. This cultural influence created something even stronger. Soft power. People admired America. People copied America. People wanted to live like Americans. The U.S. didn't have to force its culture onto others. The world willingly embraced it. The fall of the Soviet Union. America stands alone. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. The Cold War ended. The U.S. had no rival left. For the first time in history, a single country dominated the world completely. Economically, militarily, technologically, culturally, politically, digitally. America became the sole superpower. The 1990s were the unipolar moment, a period when the U.S. was at its absolute peak. Wall Street controlled global finance. Silicon Valley controlled global tech. Hollywood controlled global entertainment. The Pentagon controlled global security. The dollar controlled global trade. The world entered the American century. But why? Why America? Because the U.S. had 1. Geography, safe borders, vast land, resources. 2. People, millions of immigrants bringing talent. 3. Innovation, a culture that rewards ideas. So economy, the largest market on earth. 5. Military, global reach, unmatched technology. 6. Currency, dollar dominance. 7. Culture, movies, music, lifestyle. 8. Politics, stability, and institutions. Each one alone is powerful. Together, they create a superpower. But the story isn't over. The 21st century brings new challenges. China's rise, cyber warfare, political polarization, artificial intelligence, global economic shifts, climate pressures. By the beginning of the 21st century, the United States stood at the top of the global system. It had the strongest military, the biggest economy, the most powerful currency, the leading universities, the biggest technology companies, and the most influential culture. But the world was changing quickly. A new kind of competition was rising, not with tanks and soldiers, but with microchips, data, algorithms, and global influence. To understand why America is still the world's main superpower, we must understand how it adapted to the challenges of the modern era. The new rival, China rises. In the early 2000s, China exploded onto the world stage. For the first time since the Soviet Union, America had a rival powerful enough to challenge it economically, technologically, and militarily. China grew fast, very fast. Factories, skyscrapers, highways, science cities, ports, universities. Everything expanded at a breathtaking speed. China became the world's largest manufacturer, the world's largest trading nation, the world's second largest economy, a leader in 5G, solar energy, electric vehicles, drones, a major military power. Many experts said, China will replace America, but replacing a superpower is not easy, because America holds advantages that go deeper than numbers. Why America still leads. The hidden strengths. 1. Technology leadership. Even as China grows, the core technologies of the modern world are still mostly American. Operating systems, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, microchip design, aerospace, internet infrastructure, AI research, biotech and pharmaceuticals. Companies like Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Tesla, SpaceX continue to push the frontier of global innovation. The dollar remains the king. Despite global tensions, the US dollar still dominates. 90% of world trade uses USD. Most countries keep USD as reserves. Oil and gas are priced in USD. International loans are in USD. Global banks use USD as their base. Even China, Russia, and the Middle East continue to use dollars because it is stable, trusted, and deeply integrated. This gives America a financial weapon unmatched by any other nation's sanctions. When America cuts a country from the dollar system, that country loses access to global trade. This creates a type of power no military can match. 3. Global allies. America does not stand alone. The U.S. has allies everywhere. NATO in Europe, Japan, South Korea, Australia in Asia, Canada, Mexico in North America, Middle Eastern partners, trade alliances worldwide. China has few strong allies. Russia has even fewer. America's alliance network is the largest in human history. This gives the U.S. military bases across the world, intelligence gathering across continents, shared economic power, unified political influence. A superpower is not only strong itself, it is surrounded by strength. 4. Hollywood, music, internet culture, soft power. The world listens to American music. The world watches American movies. The world uses American apps. The world wears American brands. This is soft power, the ability to influence the hearts and minds of people. Even people who dislike the U.S. consume American culture every day. This invisible influence shapes taste, fashion, ideas, values, humor, lifestyle, and identity. No other country has this level of cultural reach. 5. Universities and brain power. The top schools in the world: Harvard, MIT, Stanford, Yale, Berkeley, Princeton, hepsi Amerika'da. The smartest students from India, China, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, South America. All dream of studying in the United States. This steady flow of talent keeps American innovation alive. 6. Energy independence. The U.S. is one of the few major countries that produces enough oil, produces enough natural gas, has huge reserves, has strong energy infrastructure. This makes America hard to pressure economically. 7. Food and resources. America can feed itself. It can power itself. It has water, land, minerals, and agriculture. That makes it uniquely resilient. The 21st century battles. Modern superpower competition is different. It's not a war of bombs. It's a war of microchips, semiconductor supply chains, satellites, cyber attacks, AI systems, rare earth minerals, internet platforms, quantum computing, biotech, robotics. In almost all of these arenas, the United States still leads, not perfectly, not easily, but clearly. The superpower question. What does it mean today? Being a superpower does not mean ruling the world. It means having enough influence to shape how the world develops. Today, America controls global financial systems, leads technological innovation, sets cultural trends, commands the strongest military, holds the most powerful alliances, directs global research, influences the world economy, dominates the internet, prevents other nations from dominating. This is why the world still sees the U.S. as the primary superpower. The future. Can America keep its position? The future is uncertain. China is rising. India is rising. AI is transforming everything. Nations are competing for influence. The world is becoming more multipolar. But even with all these changes, most global analysts agree. America will remain one of the main superpowers for the rest of the century. Maybe not alone. Maybe not uncontested, but still at the top. Why? Because superpower status is not built in a decade or even in a century. It is built through geography, military power, alliances, innovation, population, culture, currency, leadership, institutional strength. And America has all of these, not perfectly, not without problems, but stronger than any other nation. The final answer. Why America is a superpower. Because everything in modern global life, money, trade, technology, entertainment, security, internet, runs through systems the United States built. The world may change, new powers may rise, but the American foundation is deeper than it looks. Superpowers do not depend on one strength. They depend on many, and America still has more of them than anyone else. This is why America became a superpower in the first place. This is why it remains one today. And this is why the world continues to look toward the United States as leader, partner, rival, inspiration, and sometimes challenge, but always as a superpower.